It's hard to overstate the impact that Thraben Inspector had upon the very fabric of Magic discussion when it was first printed. In a time when the parlance of rectangles had really not taken off, this 1-mana 1/2 that gave you an artifact that could be interacted away and, at worst, sacrificed for 2 mana to cantrip was like nothing we had ever seen before. Naturally, people were excited. It's an incredible card. Since then, the concept of the 1-drop has changed and evolved. Yes, Llanowar Elves is still peak, but it is quite notable that while Llanowar Elves was printed into Alpha, it was eventually considered way too good and polarizing as a turn 1 play, until slowly but surely the power of 1-drops crept up in each subsequent draft format. And while some might cry power creep, honestly, there has been so much room for exploration in the space of 1-drops. You have to understand, as a designer, 1-drops as a concept are fascinating. Deciding what it is that you can do on turn 1 fundamentally anchors the entire tone of your game. And for so many years, Magic was a game of draw, land, pass. And one of the most optimal plays that you could make was playing a tap land so that you definitely had 2 mana untapped on your next turn, which is so boring. Now, I'm not saying that we should be in Yu-Gi-Oh! Territory here, where turn 1 is so important as to have different decks wanting to play specifically turn 1 going first or turn 1 going second, but Thraben Inspector was the real proof that modern Magic could handle powerful, decent 1-drops at common. Of course, the fact that it was locked to Innistrad was actually kind of a problem. So what did Magic do? They reprinted it as Novice Inspector, a detective. Yes, I'm sure that will be much easier to reprint and not cause constant flavor clashes. Actually, if we're being honest, most Magic settings are more than flexible enough to just include a human detective as a random piece of flavor fluff. But also, we have Foundations now, and it's got Llanowar Elves in it. We could have just put Thraben Inspector into Foundations, but I do suppose we had to make space for Healer's Hawk and Hinterland Sanctifier. Life gain players are the standard commander people. Like and subscribe. In terms of functional mechanical quality, the Inspector has a number of things going for it. I'd like to say that it being a 1/2 is relevant, but honestly, it mostly just stops it from dying to a passing gust of wind, rather than, say, applying any sort of defensive pressure. But the real benefit of Novice Inspector is that, first of all, it generates an artifact token and a clue specifically, the absolute best kind of artifact token. WotC has been going absolutely crazy with all the different kinds of artifact tokens that they're printing nowadays, but let me be clear, nothing will ever power creep the clue's ability to turn a token rectangle into an actual card from your deck. Spyglass Siren might have flying, might sometimes be a 2-mana 2/2, sometimes be a 2-mana 1/1 flyer and also draws you a land. A weird quantum superposition between token and real card is nowhere near as good as I play the Inspector, I get the clue token, I draw the card. And also importantly is the fact that the Inspector is in white. And I'm not talking about color identity reasons here. Commander players will not convince me that every color deserves a version of every effect just at differing mana values. And yes, I'm more than a little upset that while I appear to have won the hybrid mana discussion, I have in the process been forced to accept the genericization of 2-brid mana, a design stretch I am much less okay with. But the color of something that you want to play reliably on turn 1 is obviously super important. Not every format is going to have a breadth of incredible turn 1 untapped multicolored lands. More often than not, what you can do with a basic is the baseline power for your deck. And yeah, it rules that you can go turn 1 basic planes Novice Inspector, turn 2 basic planes, Nurturing Pixie, replay the Novice Inspector. I've got 2 creatures and 2 clues, and now my Corey Cosmogran Zenith deck can actually start going off on later turns without having to spend the first few twiddling my thumbs.